Follow the 5 steps that you learned earlier. Decide which question you would answer on an essay test if you had the choice, and then come back. Now, looking at this question, remember we said this was an evaluate, so you're asked to agree or disagree. What you would do is you would decide which side of this issue you're on. Do you think television is more interesting than people, or do you think people are more interesting than television? Once you figure that out, you would give that opinion, and then you would back it up with specific examples. So you might say, for example, people are more interesting than television, and you would give 3 examples. You might talk about your father, your mother, and your Aunt Alice, all of whom are very interesting people, and you would give examples of what they do that's very interesting. Second one, what you would do here is probably my brain dump. You would just write down a series of details, then go back and arrange those details in chronological or time order from the furthest back to the most recent, describing the formation of each continent in turn. So you would decide which continent you're going to take first, second, and so on, and explain how they are formed. Number 3. Well, what I would say is people cannot commit horrible, heinous acts to appear honorable without looking very foolish. The elephant, I know, is a symbol for Burma, whose spirit the British are killing just as needlessly and wastefully as Orwell had killed the elephant. Now, I might choose to answer this specific question because I know that essay very, very well, and I have a lot of good details about that essay. So I'm comfortable understanding what those symbols represent. And I would analyze each symbol in turn to explain Orwell's theme or message about the British occupation of Burma around turn of the century to about 1940 when he was writing this. And the last one, drawing from John Donne's Meditation 17, well, what I would do is I would quote part of that meditation and I would apply that to the novel For Whom the Bell Tolls. I might quote, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never sent to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." Well, that comes from the meditation. I would then apply that to what Hemingway says in his novel. Which one should you choose to answer if you're lucky enough to have the choice? You would choose the one that you know the most about. You would choose the one that you are most comfortable answering. So I personally would pick the one about Orwell because that's my field, literature, but somebody else might be much more comfortable writing about the continents. So if you have a choice of questions, don't just arbitrarily pick the first one. Read them all carefully, decide which one you can answer most fully, most completely, most comfortably, and use that question. Moving on, case. Case is the form of a noun or a pronoun that shows how it is used in a sentence. English has 3 cases. They're the nominative, the objective, and the possessive. It sounds like a lot, but actually we're not in bad shape because German, for example, has 6 cases, so we only have the 3. The nominative case, the pronoun, is used as the subject of the verb or as a predicate nominative. Some people call the nominative case the subject case. I remember it because nominative has the root nomen, and nomen means name. So I remember this is the name case, the subject case. The objective case The pronoun is used as the direct object, the indirect object, or the object of a preposition. And in the possessive, the pronoun shows ownership. So to recap, we have the nominative, the name or subject case. We have the objective, it's used as an object. We have the possessive, it shows ownership. The pronoun changes depending on how it is used in the sentence. This chart shows the three cases. The nominative case, that's the column on the left. So that's used as a subject. You would say, I threw the ball. He threw the ball, she threw the ball, we threw the ball. Now, in the object case, I might say, throw the ball to me. Me is the object. It happens to be the object of the preposition to. In the possessive case, the ball is mine. I'm showing possession. Or I might say, give me my ball. I wouldn't say, give me ball or give me eyeball. Sometimes you can figure this out because it just sounds weird. Other times you actually have to take the sentence apart and look at it. Look at the bottom of this chart. The one that people tend to get confused about, who and whoever, whom and whomever, whose and whosever. They're actually extremely easy to use if you remember that who and whoever are nominative or subject, whom and whomever are the object, and whose and whosever are the possessive. So this is a chart that you should keep track of because it will help you use these pronouns correctly. Let's take a look at the rules for the nominative case. Use the nominative case, the subject case, with the subject of a verb. I or me did the algebra homework. Well, would I say I did the algebra homework or me did the algebra homework? I would say I did the algebra homework. I'm the subject. You know that we, us, like math a lot. Well, we like math a lot. Latoya and I, or Latoya and me, did the homework. Well, I would say Latoya and I, because I would say I did the homework. We and they, or we and them. I would say, well, we and they, because they're both subjects. Here's a hint. Take the nouns or the pronouns separately and try the sentence that way. So you can say, Latoya did the homework, or you can say, I did the homework. Try the second one. We did the homework, or you can say, they did the homework. And that way you can hear that it's clearly the subject. You also use the nominative case with a predicate nominative. A predicate nominative is the noun or pronoun that follows a linking verb and identifies or renames the subject. It sounds complex, but it's really very, very easy. For example, we usually say, it is me, or it is them. We use the objective case, but the correct form is really the nominative case. We should say, it is I, or it is they. For example, the member of the lab who did the experiment is I. The linking verb there is, so it's the nominative I, not the objective me. The science winners were the Murphy twins and they. The linking verb is were, so the answer is they. Here's a hint if you're having trouble with it. Reverse the sentence. So say, I did the experiment, or they were the science winners. If you put it first, you put that pronoun first, you hear that it's in the subjective or nominative case. So you wouldn't say, me did the experiment, or them were the science winners. You would say, I did the experiment, or they were the science winners. So now what I would like you to do is to pause the program and circle the correct pronoun in each sentence. Then come back. The first two are the subject of the sentence. The second two are predicate nominatives. Richard and I study economics. He is my teacher. Let's go back to that first one. Richard studies economics. I study economics. I took it apart. Predicate nominative, the students are they. The principal is she. Let's do our reversal there. They are the students. She is the principal. Go back to our predicate nominative for a moment. Are is my linking verb in number 3. Is my linking verb in number 4. Let's take a look now at our second case, the objective case. You use the objective case with a direct object. For example, Luke's solution to the math problem intrigued me. Direct object, me. Victoria's shoes no longer fit her. Object. Hector saw my and him at the math fair. Now, if you have a compound object, for example, you have my and him, just consider them separately. Hector saw my at the math fair. Hector saw him at the math fair. So when you break it into two sentences, you can clearly hear that Hector is the subject, he's doing the seeing, and him is the object. You also use the objective case with an indirect object. For example, the diagram gave us the answer, indirect. My brother sent me an email, and Brendan gave him a pencil. Last, use the objective case with the object of a preposition. Now remember, a preposition is a small word. One of the easiest ways to remember prepositions, one of my favorite ways, is draw a mountain and put a bunny rabbit next to it. Anything the bunny rabbit can do to the mountain is a preposition. So the bunny rabbit can go by the mountain, to the mountain. The bunny rabbit can go over the mountain, under the mountain. And so if you're stuck, you can't figure out what a preposition is, imagine the bunny rabbit in the mountain, and you'll probably get it. Number 1, sit by me. The preposition is by. Me is the object of that preposition. I welcome the chance to speak to them. The preposition is to. So you're using the objective case, them. And number 3, they understood why the puppy walked with us. With is the preposition. The object would be us. So now what I would like you to do is to pause the program and circle the correct pronoun in each sentence. Don't go by sound. Go by the rules. Then come back. The first 2 are direct object, the second 2 are indirect object, and the last 1, object of a preposition. Direct object number 1, I congratulated her and the other winners. Break it apart. I congratulated her, I congratulated the other winners. Her is the direct object. Number 2, can we really believe him? Him is the direct object. Number 3, Jamal gave me a lot of help on the math. Jamal is my subject, me is my object. The test results gave us a boost in confidence using the object. The frog jumped at us. At is my preposition. Last, we have the possessive case. You use the possessive case before nouns to show possession. Possession means ownership. George left, is it his, he, or him book at home? Well, thinking back to our chart, his is the possessive pronoun.